markers that underpin the success of communities like Manjimup, that mean that they survive in the face of the adversity that we've talked about this morning. It's resilience. It's a willingness to contemplate change. It's a respect for the past and those that forged the early path for future generations. It is hard work and determination, and it is people. As country people, we all recognise these markers of success. We see them in our own communities. Grit, determination, resilience, hard work. These characteristics are embedded in the communities that I represent in the wheat belt. They are the bedrock of the communities that are coated in the red dust of the Kimberley and the Pilbara and the goldfields. I see them in the southwest, and they underpin the spirit of the Midwest. What better example of grit and determination and resilience and hard work than the mighty Moora community? This little town was forced to pursue a campaign against a government that would not engage, that would not meet with them, that would not consult. They spent days, weeks and months fighting to protect what they have instead of planning for the future and daring to dream that they could have more. They succeeded in drawing support from every corner of the state for their cause. And people backed them. They backed them because they were genuine, they were authentic, they were passionate, and they were willing to fight. Just like our party, just like the Nationals. Again and again over these past 12 months, our regional communities have had to rally to protect and fight for what they hold dear. Community resource centres, School of the Air, Southwest Rescue Emergency Helicopter, camp schools and cuts to the Agricultural College Trust Fund. We've railed against the proliferation of FIFO camps, which is the cancer of the bush. We've seen off Labor's gold tax grab and have come in their thousands to Katanning to support the live sheep trade. And do you know what's made me incredibly proud? What should make every one of you here today, our members and our supporters, proud, is that it was our team standing shoulder to shoulder with these communities as they fought. And they say that success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. And in the conga line of political parties and politicians that have scrambled to claim these wins, you can be assured that the people that count know we have their back. That's because we're part of these communities. Our party, you, the people that turn up, pre-select regional champions who live and work in these communities. We understand what makes them tick. Our party room is not laced with professional politicians. This is not a paint-by-numbers exercise for us. We are people who have a dogged determination to see regional Western Australia thrive. Our critics say that we are one-eyed and that we are uncompromising. And I think we should wear that as a badge of honour, because we know what it takes to get things done for our communities. And the government has been forced to back down again and again and again. So be proud of your team. Be proud of the team that has stepped up to the mark in opposition and held this mean McGowan government to account. This government has proven it will leave regional Western Australia out in the cold. They have no long-term plan, they have no vision. It is just politics for them. And that is why our role as the champion of the regions, an independent and truly regional voice in the Parliament, has never been more important. 2018 marks 10 years since the Nationals claimed the balance of power. And in the process, we laid the foundation for what will become the Royalties for Regions Act. Strong and independent, we negotiated on our terms to deliver our key election policy. And what was achieved in government for regional WA and our state as a result was quite simply phenomenal. We shone a torch on the farthest and most forgotten corners of our state and told communities they should expect more from their government. And everywhere I go, I see the impact of Royalties for Regions. 3,600 projects that changed regional WA for the better, and we did that. We did that. But our gaze must be firmly fixed on the horizon and not on the rearview mirror. The success of Royalties for Regions cannot blind us to the challenges that lay ahead. Last year I addressed state conference before there'd been a single state budget handed down. I said there is every indication that this Labor government will return to ad hoc funding of projects. They will tinker at the edges, they will fund a little bit here, they will fund a little bit there, just enough to validate their promise of royalties for regions. I told you that it would become just a shade of its former self. And it is with absolutely no joy that I say these predictions have come true. 2 budgets in, and the Labor government has corrupted royalties for regions. It is no longer the program that we fought so hard for. The Treasurer has made it clear this is just another government fund. The development commissions have turned into vehicles for delivering Labor election commitments. Where once we had forward-thinking, expansive economic development programs like Water for Food, Pilbara Cities and super towns, this government is using royalties for regions to subsidise water corporation. Shame on them. Regional WA's blood is boiling, and rightly so. We can feel it when we're at the Newdigate Field Days or the Wage and Woolarama. We can sense it when we're at the Moora Show or we're down the main street of Kalgoorlie. And in the Pilbara? Well, in the Pilbara, they're wishing they could turn back time. They see what this government is doing to them and they do not like it one bit. So for the good of those communities, for our state, we must forge a pathway to return to government. How are we going to do this? First, we commit to royalties for regions, not the corrupted version of this McGowan government, not the watered-down version that the Liberal Party has promised. 25% of royalties collected and quarantined for the communities that generate the wealth of this state is fair, full stop. We commit to an authentic and strong royalties for regions to underpin an aggressive economic and regional development agenda. We commit to a royalties for regions that supports vital community and social infrastructure. No one can tell me that my communities don't deserve an aged care facility that means our grandparents and parents can stay close to family and friends as they age. No one can tell me that my towns shouldn't aspire to have great sporting and community facilities, places where we gather in times of trouble, to socialise, to hold weddings, to say goodbye to our loved ones and host meetings and events. And no one will convince me that our spend on upgrading health centres and hospitals across this state, the biggest capital investment in the history of the WA Country Health Service, so that our families can access medical assistance in modern and safe facilities, was a waste of money. In the Legislative Assembly, there are 59 members of Parliament. 43 of them represent metropolitan electorates. Quite simply, there are more of them than there are of us, and when it comes to spending priorities of government, unless you have the leverage of numbers and a relentless and persistent attitude, regional WA gets left behind. It is no small task to change government in one term, but make no mistake, it can be done. I believe it can be done, our team believes it can be done. Darling Range was Labor's 11th most marginal seat after the 2017 state election. Of the 10 more marginal electorates, all but one, Albany, are first-term members. The swing against the Labor Party was 9.1%. If you apply that swing across all seats in 2 years' time, you change government. It is our task between now and March 2021 to convince every country electorate that they can play a key role in changing the script. We need to capture the anger, the frustration of regional Western Australians and convert it to action. We need to convince them that they can change government. They can take a stand. Put simply, for regional WA to have a say, we all need to vote the same way. More MPs sitting at the Nationals table means any future government arrangements will be negotiated from a position of power, from a position of strength, on our terms, on regional WA terms. Every day that passes brings us one step closer to the next state election and March 2021. I give you a commitment that our team will keep fighting. We will keep working hard across this vast state. The stakes are too high to leave Mr McGowan in charge, and we need to be united and committed to the task ahead. Let's all work together. It can be done. I have faith that this party can once again do the things that regional Western Australia needs us to do. Thank you very much.